Jackson Radio Show.
Huh? Let's just say I'm offended, everybody. Kevin Jackson, it's the Kevin Jackson Show. KJRadio.com. I'm offended. I'm mad. Oh, yeah, no, there's no other description of this. I'm mad. I'm mad at Mark Wahlberg, and I'll tell you why. Mark Wahlberg donated his money in the name of Michelle Williams, his co-star, in a film called, I forget the name, what was it like? All the Money in the World. So he's donated his money. They had to do a reshoot. And Mark Wahlberg got paid $1.5 million to do the reshoot. And the female co-star in the film got paid a lot less. So the way this story reads, it says, bowing to an outcry over the wage disparity of the reshoots of All the Money in the World, Mark Wahlberg and his agency, William Morris Endeavor, have agreed to donate $2 million to Time's Up to combat harassment and pay inequities in Hollywood. And here's what Wahlberg says. Over the last few days, my reshoot fee for All the Money in the World has become an important topic of conversation. I 100% support the fight for fair pay, and I'm donating the $1.5 million to Time Up's legal defense fund in Michelle Williams' name. Now, let me just explain. So when you have to reshoot a movie, they call these guys in, and I don't know why they did it, but they said, oh, geez, we screwed up. So they do a reshoot. Mark Wahlberg gets $1.5 million. It's a negotiated thing. His people went and said, here's what we want to do. Now, here's what William Morris said. The current I'm going to finish that thought in a second, but it says, because they donated $500,000, William Morris, but they said the current conversation is a reminder to us in a position of influence have a responsibility to challenge inequities, including the gender wage gap. This is what gets me about this. Say with me, folks. In recognition of the pay discrepancies on All the Money in the World reshoots, WME is donating an additional $500,000 to this legal defense fund, following our $1 million pledge to the organization earlier this month. So this Time's Up nonsense has gotten millions of dollars donated over nothing. Now, here's what I want you to understand about this, because I don't want you to think, oh, Kevin's just being a mean-spirited male. But in response to the news, Williams said in a statement given to the Hollywood Reporter that today isn't about me. My fellow actresses stood by me, stood up for me. My activist friends taught me to use my voice. And the most powerful men in charge, they listened and they acted. If we truly envision an equal world, it takes an equal effort and sacrifice. Today is one of the most indelible days in my life because of Mark Wahlberg, WME. And let me just lavish praise on all these eunuchs that rolled over on the so-called women's movement. Now, here's what this hoopla is all about. USA reported they went into Wahlberg's business and they said, oh, wow, he got $1.5 million beyond his original salary. His co-star, Williams, was given nothing but a per diem of $1,000. The dramatic differences triggered an outcry. So this is what the dramatic difference. Oh, we're mad. Look at what they gave that man. Okay, so here's what I'd say. Are they both represented by agents? Yeah. Mark Wahlberg's got William Morris. Michelle Williams has somebody else. Her agent negotiated $1,000. And what's funny about it is they say they went to her and they said it was critical. Her scene is critical to the movie. We've got to have you do it. If you're an actress in Hollywood and your scene is critical to a movie, and they're going to give you $1,000 to do it, you should be really. That's all I can say. I ain't going to tell them she should be beat. Anyway, here's what they talk about this. Jessica Chastain, who has emerged as a leading activist for the cause of women's equality and who was among the first to publicize the disparity, tweeted, "Please go see Michelle's performance in All the Women in the World. She's a brilliant, get this, Oscar-nominated, Golden Globe-winning actress." They always got to give you all the crap, stuff that they have. "She's been in the industry for 20 years. She deserves more than 1% of her male co-star's salary." Amber Tamblyn quickly responded via Twitter, "Michelle Williams was paid 1% of her male co-star in her latest film. This is totally unacceptable. You're doggone right it is." Who are you going to blame? You're going to blame the people that says, hey, we'll give you $1,000. Or are you going to blame your agent who says, you must be out of your freaking mind. We ain't taking no $1,000. Judd Apatow, another Hollywood eunuch, he says, this is so messed up that it's almost hard to believe. Almost. This is how this business works. I wonder if the studio or Mark Wahlberg would do something to make this situation less insane. Actress Sophia Bush tweeted, exposing the gross disparity in pay and is hard evidence of the gender gap. Think about what we're talking about here, folks. We're talking about a chick that was going to go make $1,000 in a day. A dude who made $1.5 million for his reshoot. Now, let me ask you this. How much money do you make in a day? Do you make $365,000 a year? What did Michelle Williams get paid for the movie? $500,000? I don't know. But I guarantee you it was more than you're going to make in years. And because she's going to make $1,000 a day, no fault of the people who make the film, because they're going to give you an offer. Now it's all about women's rights and how the disparities are. Somebody found out what Wahlberg got in his negotiation and decided to make it a cause of women. See, this is where I have my problem. Oh my goodness. And then get this. And this is the funny part of it. Exposing the gross disparity in pay and hard evidence of the gender gap. Negotiated by the same agents, no less. Isn't a witch hunt. It's a demand for fair practices. So now we find out while WME donates $500,000. The same people that negotiated for Wahlberg negotiated for her. If I were her, I'd sue them. That's who I wouldn't be making it a feminist. I would say, look, you got my co-star $1.5 million and you got me $1,000. You're fired and I'm suing you. Why does this have to become a gender issue? They said when All the Money director Ridley Scott made the unprecedented decision to reshoot in the wake of allegations of sexual assault leveled against Spacey in November, he and his team had to move quickly since the film's scheduled release was just 1 month away. While Scott needed both Williams, who plays Gail Harris, the mother of the kidnapped victim John Paul Getty III, and Wahlberg, who plays a former CIA operative who becomes involved in the attempts to secure the boy's release, Williams apparently agreed to return without making any additional salary requests, while Wahlberg demanded further compensation. I go back to what I said originally. If you don't ask for it, why do you expect somebody else to give it to you? Now, whether WME gets paid a fee on what they make for these people, so why they wouldn't go to bat for her, I don't know. But maybe she just put her foot in her mouth and said, well, you know, if it's for the betterment of the film. Now I'll ask you this before we get too much farther afield and I'll forget about it. Do you even know who this chick is? Do you know who Michelle Williams is? She spent 20 years in the industry. She is a, what did they say she was? She's a Golden Globe, Oscar nominated, Golden Globe winning actress who's been in the industry for 20 years. And I promise you, if you put a gun to my head and said, Kevin, who's Michelle Williams? Pick her out in this lineup of 6 women. And you gave me 4 black women and 2 white women, I still probably would miss it. I don't know who Michelle Williams is. I'd probably pick one of the black chicks because that's a black chick's name, ain't it? Unbelievable. So they're blaming I wouldn't have donated a nickel. I would have said, you ain't getting a nickel of my money. I got nothing to do with this. I asked for this because I deserve it. If that chick don't want to ask for what she thinks she deserves, shame on her. See, this is one of these things that has nothing to do with gender. Nothing to do with this industry. And this is, do you hear anybody talking about this? You're not going to hear a network cover this, including Fox, because nobody wants to cover the idea that this chick didn't have the balls, pardon my French, to go in there and say, I'm not doing that reshoot unless I get some decent dollars. It's that simple. Oh, man. Imperative Entertainment financed the film. They put up an additional $10 million for the reshoot. Sony, which was distributing, was not involved in negotiations to bring the cast back. You know, hey, maybe she should have sued Spacey. He's the reason why they had to do the reshoot. Wahlberg had agreed to take about 80% of his usual quote, which is in the $15 million range, to appear in the film. In Hollywood's particular calculus, while Williams has an impressive resume, Having earned 4 Oscar nominations, Wahlberg is considered the bigger box office draw. That was the point I was going to make. Who would you rather see? Do you know Michelle Williams? Would you go, Michelle Williams is starring in? Who? Who's they got in it? Is Denzel in it? Because if it isn't, I don't even think about it. Michelle Williams is going to be in a film. I got to go see that, said nobody ever except her family. He's a bigger box office draw. Period. They know this. To make this, and this is one of these false, the flags of feminism that wants you to believe that some big inequity has occurred when nothing has occurred of the sort. Could have been a dude reshooting. He would have got $1,000.
Kevin Jackson
on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.